Creep here. Today we're talking about hot weather pants.
So today on the channel, we're gonna be talking about hot weather bottoms. Now I know I just recently put out a video on my favorite hot weather top, which is the Raid Mod top. Thank you all again for your support on that video. And historically on this channel, we've talked a lot about cold weather gear. A lot of what our modern military uses over in the desert is the same kind of stuff that they wear over in the States that's used for temperate environments. As long as you're hydrated and your body is going through that cooling evaporative process that we've talked about in our layering videos, then you should be okay. It's just going to be real hot and real uncomfortable, right? 120 degrees and dry is survivable, but 120 degrees and humid is not. And the reason for that is because if the air is wet and your body is wet, that sweat is not going to evaporate into the saturated air. So your body and your clothes are going to become saturated. It's going to be very hard for those to dry out, and you're not going to cool off. So if you don't believe me, if you look at the humidity index on the National Weather Service, if it's 100 degrees and 40% humidity, that is dangerous. Being out here wearing all this kit, it's really hot, all right? It is actually in the dangerous levels because it's what temperature? It is 94 degrees and 60% humidity. That is classified as dangerous levels of humidity, right? So how do we try to solve this problem? Well, what we could do is we could wear less layers, right? If you wear shorts or short sleeves top, then you're gonna lose a lot of protection, not just from abrasive materials, but also from the sun, because as we all know, sunscreen wears off, and having something that is actually going to create a physical barrier between you and UV rays is gonna be much more reliable. So I do wanna thank the gracious sponsor of this video, Venture Surplus. They actually ended up sending me a few pairs of pants for me to review for this video, the proper BDU 2.0 pants. I love them. I'll talk about them a lot more in a second. They also sent me out this Jungle Tiger Stripe top from Proper, as well as this Proper Jungle Tiger Stripe boonie that I cut down. And if you use discount code KITCREEP at checkout on their site, then you'll get a 10% discount on whatever you get. They have great sales all the time, and they always got really cool stuff coming in and out of stock. I also want to thank Zulu24 Airsoft Field for letting me use their facilities here. This is the best airsoft field in the Northeast. I've been coming here for years, and this is a great place to test out your kit. All right, so I want to thank them so much for letting me use their super cool trenches and foxholes on their field. They're great guys, so definitely check them out, as well as Zulu Outdoor Pro Shop on site. So what I have on here are the Crye G4 hot weather pants. These are not the combat pants. The combat pants are gonna be the ones that have the external knee pad. They look very similar to the G3 combat pants. These are the field pants, and honestly, they're basically jungle pants. What makes them great is that they are A, super lightweight, super comfy, and they're actually made out of 100% nylon. The thing with cotton is that, yes, it is breathable, but much like in the winter, how it's, cotton kills and that adage, it likes to hold on to water. The fabric is actually made from Burlington Fabrics. It's called MCS Blocker, which just stands for their Moisture Control System. And blocker means that they are going to be UV protective, right? So for being as thin as they are, they're actually going to do a really good job of keeping you from getting sunburn, but staying lightweight, staying fast drying, breathable, which is awesome. So these are effectively jungle pants. So to start off with these, we do have a French fly design, so it's got two buttons that's gonna maintain that durability and have some redundancy at the fly. So if you're a big chunker, then that one little button's not gonna be doing, all of God's work. We do see a zipper, which is really interesting. I would have figured that these would have a full button-up fly, but my theory there is that they're probably looking for bug repellency, right? Because zippers are gonna make sure that no bugs get through, whereas if you have a full button-up fly, then something could be crawling around in your on your Slim Jim, I guess. Looking at the waistline, we have that standard Crye G3 style of waist adjustment. Coming around to the back, we actually do not have any back pockets on these, and I actually love that because I strongly dislike back pockets because I think they just create a lot of excess material on a very sweaty part of my body. And if I do end up actually putting something in there, two things are gonna happen. It's going to get completely soaked by my swamp ass, and I will most likely sit on it and absolutely destroy whatever's in there. So keep these nice and lightweight and breathable, completely omit the back pockets. I'm a huge fan of that. And they have reinforcements in all the right places. So In the knees, we actually have some thicker, more reinforced material that's going to allow them to take a little bit more of a beating in those areas, as well as on the ass, we've got a little bit of reinforcement. Those are going to be the highest abrasion areas. And then for the pockets, we do have some standard hand pockets, and all of the pockets are actually lined with mesh. And that just promotes breathing, because once you start stacking those layers of fabric, it's going to be a lot less breathable. It's going to cause some real hot spots, and it's going to get saturated in those areas. So that's going to not only promote ventilation and allow heat to come up through those pockets, but also just allow your body to breathe through the fabric. Once that fabric gets saturated, it can actually become almost airtight. And you can actually see that when people are training for going overboard on a ship. They actually are trained to take off their pants, tie them in a knot, soak them, and then pull them over their heads. You can actually use cotton pants as a life preserver. And that is something that these pants are trying to eliminate, avoiding a situation where your pants become not just watertight, but almost airtight, and then cannot breathe at all. All right, so moving from there, the dip pockets that we typically see on a Crye G3 combat pant has been replaced by these zippered pockets, right? So you can fit something the size of maybe an AR mag or your cell phone in there. These are not here as heat vents like we see on the UF Pro HT pants. Those pants are so thick and heavy and hot that you actually need ventilation on them because they don't breathe. They got so much material stacked on top of each other. They certainly weren't made for American heat, certainly that European type of heat. So moving down from there, we do have some big old cargo pockets. So like we see on the rest of the G4 line, we have this kind of laminate material up here at the flap. It's very thin, very lightweight. And what's great about that is it's designed to be able to tuck in, and then you can use it like a dump pouch, which is really nice. It's got a lot of space on the inside, and it has a single bellow here at the back, so you don't have a lot of material that's folded on top of each other like we see on something like these pants. We've got a lot of bellows, we got a lot of extra material. So here we do see we have a little pass-through pocket, and you know that's obviously there so that you can put something like your knife or your multi-tool, but it does actually pass all the way through. Yeah, you get a Slim Jim or a stick charge through there. Use your imagination on that. So that's definitely good to point out, and that is also, again, ambidextrous. We see that on both sides of the pants, which is great. All right, so next let's take a look at the knees. So these do actually accept Crye Field knee pads, right? The standard Airflex knee pads that you can put in all of your G3 Field pants. They just go in a little bit different. So now there is some mesh on the inside that is sewn into the inside of these pants, and you can slide those Airflex knee pads inside of them. The issue is you need to like pull the pants inside out, put them in, just finagle them right side out.
And it's just a pocket. There's no height adjustment. There's no cinch behind the knee pads.
Yeah, they just kind of float there. But the thing is, if it gets too hot and you want to take them out, well, you have to take off your pants to remove them. It's just not a great design. I'm not a huge fan. I never run the knee pads in here. We do have some net bug gaiters on the bottom here, and that is what really attracted me to these pants, because I thought that was just so super cool. Because the thing is, when you put something like an actual overboot gaiter on, that's going to create extra layers that are stacked on top of each other. That is going to reduce the breathability down there, and that is a very sweaty part of my body once again. So I like to just make sure that it's nice and open and flowy. So by having that bug gaiter there to keep critters from crawling up into my junk while I'm trying to just take a nap against a tree, well, it's going to make sure that I have good airflow through the pants. The heat can dump out of my ankle. Down at the cuff, we do have these standard cuff ties that we see on most issued pants. I absolutely hate them. I cut them off of every pair of pants that I have. These ones, fortunately, are short enough that I can just kind of tie them off and just forget about them. They don't really get in my way. I think it's something that should just be omitted or replaced with shock cord. So that about does it for the Crye G4 Hot Weather Field pants. They are amazing pants. They are made out of some really awesome technical materials, but that makes them very, very expensive, right? So now for the bad news, these pants are $260 MSRP. They are Berry compliant, they are made in the USA, so if that's important to you, then these are the pants that you're gonna need. So I've had the Crye G4 Hot Weather Field pants for over a year now, and they've been pretty amazing when it comes to super hot and humid environments. I'm really happy with them, but the question is it worth it? I don't think it's worth it for me, and I don't think it's gonna be that worth it for you unless you are a professional and you need to wear something like this every day for your job. Let's say you are in jungle warfare school training in Hawaii or Japan, or maybe you're a really cool training group based out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Enough about the Crye G4 hot weathers. Let's move on over to something else. My GI character friend over here, we should call him Joe. Yeah. GI Joe over here, I have him kitted out in something a little bit different. We have the proper BDU 2.0 pants. So Venture Surplus, the gracious sponsor of this video, sent these out to me, and I've been testing them out for a while now, and these are awesome. All right, so these really are the BDU 2.0 pants. So when you look at something like the USGI BDUs that were issued, they have a few updates in all the right places that I really like. So let's go over that right now. So starting at the waist here, we have some cinch adjustments, right? Venture, when they sent these to me, they specifically wanted me to point out the fact that they do not like these cinch adjustments on the waist here. They did break on them, and you know, proper, if you're listening, I would say just stick to what the original BDUs did. Use that metal fastener. That thing is honestly a lot better, but for me personally, maybe just omit it entirely. Honestly, with all of my USGI BDU pants, I just take a seam ripper to them. I take them off entirely because it doesn't feel too good under a belt. These Crye's Velcro fastener, you can't really feel it under a belt, but the plastic buckles, the metal tri-glide type thing, you will feel that. I don't like it. I just get rid of them entirely. On the fly, we do see, again, we have that French fly where we have 2 buttons, and then we also have a zipper. Very similar, almost identical to how these Crye pants are. Yeah. Going around to the back, we do actually see we have some back pockets, very similar to the USGI pants. Moving on from there, we do see we have cargo pockets. They got a lot of storage space inside of them, which is great. The way that the pocket is designed, you are able to slide some things in there even while both buttons are buttoned, but things won't fly out. Believe me, I took these things rock climbing. That is the worst possible thing to have, is to have your stuff fly out of your pockets all the way down a rock face and shatter or just get completely destroyed on the rocks below. That did not happen to me with these, which is awesome. So that means things can go in there nicely, but they won't come straight out. You got a little quick access pocket here on the left side. It is just big enough for my phone. You can also fit something like a standard USGI AR mag in there. I do wish that was ambidextrous because, well, we do have lefties out there, and also it's just nice to have quick access all over. Both of the hand pockets are real big, real nice and big if you turn them inside out.
This one does have a internal pocket that actually fits a nice Gerber multi-tool perfectly.
But unfortunately, that pocket organizer inside of the right-hand pocket is not on both sides. Once again, would have been nice to see those organizers on both sides of the pants.
Yeah. You got reinforced stitching on the outside too for a pocket knife, actually.
I've used those for multi-tools and knives and flashlights a lot. Moving on, we do see we have reinforced material at the knees. It is the same material as the rest of the pants. Again, I took them rock climbing. I was not worried about these things getting destroyed while I was out there, whereas I would not wear something like these. They would get absolutely torn to bits, and we actually have an account from someone that we know who destroyed theirs doing like a casual day of airsoft. These, however, these are going to last you a lot longer, and well, you didn't make as much of an investment, so if you do destroy them, not that big of a deal. Now, there is no built-in knee pad keeper inside of here, but that's totally fine because we can use something like our favorite external knee pads. I like to use my Arc'teryx kneecaps, huge fan of those. Those are great for while you're climbing and you're, you know, squeezing your knees into some really uncomfortable places. And what's nice is, again, you can take them on and off as you need them. Last part, we do have those same cuff ties at the ankles. Still not a huge fan of them. The biggest issue for me on these is that they are actually longer on the proper BDU 2.0s than they are on the Cryes. And I'll tell you what, when I went rock climbing with these, they almost killed me a few times. There were some times where I was trying to, you know, get my toes onto something, and I try moving my leg, and oh, I'm standing on those big long cuff ties. So we're gonna do what I do with all of my pants that come with these cuff ties, and we're just gonna go ahead and cut them off because for me personally, I don't use them. And now I know that they're actually dangerous. So lastly, these pants are a nylon cotton blend. What do these pants feel like to you?
They feel like pajamas right now.
They feel like pajamas. They are much softer than their USGI, I guess, 1.0 counterparts, which is weird because these are actually a higher nylon content. So these are 57% nylon and 43% cotton. So you would think that they would be tougher and not as comfortable, but they actually end up being.
I feel the breeze going through them pretty good.
Yeah.
They offer a decent bit of protection, as you'll see in the intro, just sliding onto rocks and stuff. No scrapes, no nothing. No thorns made it through.
Right, whereas these are almost 6 times cheaper, right? You could get about 6 pairs of these pants for the price of one of these Crye G4s, and they are a lot tougher, right? I feel comfortable taking these technical climbing. I don't feel badly destroying them. So whereas these are $260, these pants are $39.99. And if you use discount code KICKCREEP, you can get 10% off. So make sure you head on over there and get, well, about 6 pairs of them. And they do actually come in US woodland, which automatically makes them better than the Cryes. So, all right, so thank you guys so much for watching. I had a ton of fun making this video. As always, thank you for all your support. Thank you for 17,000 subscribers. That is crazy. Big thank you to Venture Surplus for sponsoring this video. Big thank you again to Zulu24 for having me, let me use their facilities out here. And I hope you guys learned something, all right? So, more expensive pants, are they really that worth it? Not so much, right? You might pay for a few more conveniences, but overall, we're all on a budget, $300 for pants. It's not always feasible, right? So, thank you so much again, and I will see you next time.